Whoa, we are so back.
Wind Waker's got it right. Eagle Scout John's got it right. Double
We-
Rare Cards has it right.
We're so live. We're so back. I cannot believe this. It's already been 2 weeks since I was live on the internets with you, Ricky.
Yeah, that's for some reason some weeks it feels long, and it feels like I haven't had as much of my Jake time over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and between now and last stream, we had some card shows, not tons of news, but we did have. We should probably take a moment and discuss the most insane live MMA event of all time. For those who are not fans, I'm sorry, but like this past weekend, we had UFC Freedom 250 at the White House.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking, is this going to be like sorry everybody for the first episode of the Machamps discuss MMA for the entire stream, but we do have to talk about it a little bit for sure.
Dude, we definitely could. And for those who aren't fans, it's still worth your time to go and watch that main event fight.
Yeah.
Just an absolute war between incredible, talented veteran fighters, and with so much backstory, so much underdog action happening. Just a beautiful story, an incredible fight. So, wow.
Yeah. Yep. It was awesome. And as we were just discussing, I watched it from Stadium Swim at the Circa in Las Vegas, which is this like outdoor amphitheater. So, a couple of margaritas and a lot of vitamin D, and just enjoying the fights in this absolutely massive screen. The scale, if you haven't been, is like you almost can't imagine. I was picturing it 1/8 as substantial as it actually was. So yeah, it was super fun, and yeah, amazing card. Great card if you are a casual follower of sports. Honestly, rewatching that card is worthwhile because most of the fights were total mismatches, and usually with total mismatches, you do get sort of like exciting results. And without spoiling it, like many of the fights were not terribly long. Yeah. So it would be a fun one to watch if you don't actually really know what you're looking at when it comes to MMA.
Yeah, so cool. And it was a good departure from, just my business brain is usually always on. So it was cool to watch some fights, and then you and I just chatted and nerded out about it. Well, we were preparing for this specific live stream. And before we dive into this live stream, maybe we just recap what happened 2 weeks ago when we had our good friend Eric from Pack Battle on.
Yes, sir. As you said, Eric from Pack Battle joined us. We were overdue for having our friend Eric. Good guy. Put us both on to, we would not probably be stream selling, or we maybe would have taken much longer to figure out how to do it without Eric's help. So just great dude and knowledgeable guy. So we had a very eventful news cycle leading into that episode. So we had a lot to talk about on Hitmon Topics, and then we talked through the rise of alternative TCGs, especially One Piece and Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I remember, and specific to just shout out Eric. I think I don't know if I mentioned this on the stream, but before Franny and I ever made a video, we had seen a handful of creators and their videos, and one of whom was Eric. And he back then he was selling like 151 bundles for like below market because he was getting them for distro price and hooking everybody up. And his videos are doing really well, short form, long form, etc. And I hit him up and I said, "Hey man, like, are you doing this full time? Like, what's your story?" And long story short, like, he was an inspiration to me to get started to make some videos and to vend and take that more seriously. And even all this time, he is still full-time job. He's got kids, and then also doing the vending and the content on the side. He's just an absolute warrior. And every hour of his 24 hours must just be totally packed. So shout out to Eric, and we're grateful that he was on to talk to us about DBZ and One Piece and stuff.
Yeah. After that one, I was feeling actually especially grateful for how many awesome guests we've had that have taken 3 unpaid hours out of an afternoon to come hang out with us. It's been fun, and it makes this program, as much as obviously you and I have a good time just talking Pokemon too. It's great every other episode to like mix somebody in and sort of get that extra perspective from somebody that we both respect, which has been really all of our guests. So
Yeah, don't sleep on that, guys. Obviously, Ricky and I love to chat Pokemon, but every other week we're here. Oftentimes we have those guests on, and they are very generous with their time. And so it would not be the same program without all those people. So shout out to all of our guests, both past and future.
Yeah.
So the main topic today, I kind of put it in the title, is, is the market going to slow down? The main goal of today is going to be the extended Q&A session that we want to do, kind of wrapping up the first half of the year here and discussing, with you guys, what questions you have about the market, the hobby, the business, us personally, whatever you want to talk about, we're down to chat about. And so we're going to get through our traditional topics here for the first, hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour. And then we'll get into the Q&A and just vibe with you guys for a while and see if we can answer a bunch of questions. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me. I think it sounds good to the chat. A lot of good vibes in the chat.
Yeah.
Asian Wing Sauce telling us that love you guys. Keep up the good work. Jay Takes, we are indeed back. Sorry you were late to the very intro, but we did confirm during the first minute of the stream that we are extremely back and very live. So
yeah, we're actually here. We're back. So
we're super back.
Glad to be here.
Back. All right. Should we dive into our traditional topics with a PC pickup?
Yes, let's do it. Let's kick it off with you.
Yeah, I'm worried I'm going to get PC pickup mogged this week, so I'll start.
I would never do that to you.
No, you would never do that to me?
No, that would be so irreverent.
Oh, that's so nice of you. You brought the vocab today too. You're trying to make me look dumb here. Okay, first thing is a couple little reverse holo guys, things that I'm working on in a sort of binder collection sort of thing. So this I picked up at card shops in Vegas. That'll be a video in about a month. This one as well. So working on both of those sets for reverse holo. Those are kind of easy. And then spoiler, we're not doing a take a chancey today, but I did kind of take a chancey on a bunch of Chinese exclusive PSA 10s. I think I accidentally spent $6,000, which is not that crazy, but like a little more than I was expecting. Oops. Yeah, I put out the bat signal to buy like 2 of these, and I ended up with 4. But part of the reason here, I alluded to this last stream, is that I got the black label of this that I sold. And so I'm using some of the proceeds of that, math thing, using some of the proceeds of that to keep one of these in my collection. And actually, so far as the take a chancey short term, not a good move. I bought them at the absolute peak of the last couple of weeks, but I'm not really stressing it.
Yeah, I mean, the Chinese card boom, not something I anticipated. I have to guess that it has something to do with that Mew. I think it's up to like 60K now, and so kind of pulling up some of the other exclusives, pulling some eyes over to that area of the market. But yeah, I mean, they're beautiful cards. I recently finally submitted a bunch of the Chinese exclusives that I had in my grading pile. 5th anniversary Pika, the Captain Pika, one of the other ones where it's like running through the field. And then also that Pikachu Gengar, such a great card. So I'm excited to get those back. As far as PC pickup for me, I'll go 2 things, because like technically I had one that came in before last stream, but I just hadn't like really processed it yet. And if you see it on my Insta, it is pretty cool. We did have the uncut sheet of the Machamps holos and also the fossil holos uncut sheets come in. So that's insane, expensive. And one thing I will add about that, in my caption about those sheets, and I haven't had them framed yet. Eventually I will, and I'll get more pictures, and maybe you'll make it part of the backdrop and stuff. But I kind of sourced those through a contact that I follow on Instagram, and someone who's been in the business for much longer than me, and works in a lot of high end kind of unique stuff like that, and has been doing high end Pokemon buy sell trade for many years. So he's done extremely well. Had sourced these uncut sheets, and when he put them on his story for sale, I at that time wasn't like searching out uncut sheets and like trying to find the best deal. And I think it's very possible that like I paid exactly what they're worth, or maybe even a little bit more than like what they're like worth. If you were to like, if there was like a market value associated with them. But I said in my caption that it's really just kind of a belief that I have that high end and actually rare, unique items in this hobby are going to continue to do really well into the future, as far as value and demand is concerned. And I pulled the trigger for two different reasons. Number one is there's some value appreciation as a collector, but number two, there's some get it now before it's boomed and gone up even more, and it's even more sought after. So yeah, I'm excited about those. And then the other thing I have here is a whole stack of singles. This whole stack right here is the beginnings of my Team Rocket Returns master set that we're going to be doing. And so lots of reverse hollows and hollows in this stack, and then also some of the non-hollows that we need. But the one that I want to show off the most, I got from my friend Brian Foxy Grandpa this weekend in Maryland, and it's this Houndoom card, and that's the pre-release stamp.
Okay.
So I'd actually never owned this card. This is the pre-release that was kind of like the teaser into the Rocket Returns set, and so it's cool to have that kind of already in the master set works, because I figured it would be one of the harder ones to find. So we've got that. So if you guys remember, maybe 2 months ago, we said on one of our videos that I was going to make a binder of like all the Rocket sets, and like with the first edition Rocket, and then Rocket Returns, and then Destined Rivals, all in one giant like evil bad boy binder. And so yeah, we're making that happen.
Wow. How many cards, including the reverse?
I haven't done the math yet, but I'm going to get one of those like, big, huge binders like the one I'm using for my E series master sets. Cause I figure it's a lot. Like, so Rocket's got to be the smallest for sure. So I think it's like 120 or 130 or something like that. Rocket Returns obviously has, the reverses. So it's got to be well over 200. And then Destined Rivals is, it's a modern set, so it's got to be huge with all of its variants and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm anticipating 700-800 cards, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick. I'm excited to see the progress.
Ascended Heroes Rocket cards will be included. Great question. Great question. Yes, those are, in my mind, those are essentially should have been in Destined Rivals, and that's how my mind works too.
Nice. Cool, man. Should we move on to our favorite or notable deal since the last stream?
Yes.
I'll start. So my friend Johto Jake, he does a podcast with our friend Earn Collects.
Shout out to Johto Jake and Earn. They're called Real Collectors, Fake Investors. Is that what it is?
I think that's it.
What a great channel that is.
Great name. So Jake reached out to me and said, I've got a friend who's trying to sell off some stuff that he's been holding on to for a while. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And so we start working it out. And long story short is I came back from the Irvine show, ending my week, like didn't get home yet, doing a $30,000+ parking lot deal with my friend Jake.
Wait, on the drive home, you stop in the parking lot?
Yeah, because he's it's like in the South Bay, and I'm northern part of the East Bay, basically. So yeah, I'm coming up from Irvine, so I was like, yeah, I can kind of like cut across off the 5 into the South Bay. So yeah, literally got my dogs and all my stuff in the back of the trunk, and we're like, yeah, let's meet up sort of in front of this card shop, and we did a $30K trunk deal, parking lot trunk deal. But this lot includes like Gold Star Charizard, Gold Star Metagross, Gold Star Suicune, Gold Star Flareon, Gold Star Mewtwo, First Edition Lugia Neo English BGS 8, very close to every black and white secret rare, the half art ones from like the plasma sets and Next Destinies and Boundaries Crossed, the textured half arts. I think there's a PSA 7 or 8 plasmas art. I don't even remember. Shining Tyranitar first ed, Noctowl, Shiny Noctowl first ed, some modern stuff, Lugia V alt art PSA 10. And that's just like scratching the surface. I'm literally forgetting some of the stuff that's in here. So just an awesome collection of basically exclusively the kind of stuff I like to pick up in a lot like that. Like it just makes me so happy to pick up, whatever, 100 items. It wasn't like a 500 card collection. It was pretty value dense. And obviously like some of these, it's stuff that he's had for a while. So some of the gold stars, like the Mewtwo's like pretty beat up, but still very cool to get all at once. So that is clearly my favorite or notable deal since the last stream.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Those are just dream collections to work. And, Jodo Jake is a very savvy person. So my guess is that those were things that he was either moving on from personal collection or had duplicates of. And so it was kind of stuff.
His friend's collection.
It was friend's collection.
His friend's collection. He was like brokering it. So I was
okay.
That was actually one of the points I wanted to make here was, I know Jake, pretty well, but he has a lot of close friends through Pokemon. So I was sort of very aware that there were a lot of people he could have gone to with this.
Totally.
And so I was like, dude, thanks for bringing this to me. I didn't know if he was shopping it around to a bunch of people initially, but it became clear as we were getting into like the spreadsheets and conditions and agreeing on those things that he intended to do this deal with me if I was interested. And so when I met up with him, I was like, dude, thanks again. It means a lot that you thought of me. And he's like, yeah, I want to support the new full timer. And he's like, honestly, I thought of you first. And so I was like, oh man, that's like, I was very touched by that. So
that is cool.
Pokemon, always, there's a lot of money to be made and there's a lot of fun cards to look at and own, whether it's temporarily or whatever, when you do deals like this. But the friends we made along the way is always, it just always continues to be the takeaway. And yeah, man, I'm just sort of like on the spectrum of succeeding through what you know versus who you know. I feel like I've benefited from who you know an awful lot. So that was just an example of it.
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes, man. And you're the way that you do business, and obviously you've publicized a lot of like the bigger vintage lots and stuff that you have brought in, and you treat people really fairly. So not surprised. Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah. Very solid pickup on that. I've already sold some stuff out of it. So
yeah, I think I saw some of it in your 50K stream.
Yeah. A surprising amount of it didn't go in that 50K stream, which I think actually, like, we did the stream as much about community and giveaway and Q&A as it was about the stream sale. So actually it was like totally average as a stream sale, because we weren't like being really diligent about we didn't have the time to show everybody all the condition of the card. And it's like, it's a big ask to spend 2.4K on a Gold Star Metagross kind of sight unseen. So I understood that those cards didn't move there, but I put them on a story. Actually, I didn't even put them on a story sale. I just have a couple of people who like to buy that sort of stuff, and I sent them some photos, and so just sort of passively sold like 10K worth of stuff, including the Metagross and the BGS 8 first ed Lugia from that buy.
Wow, good for you. Yeah, you are developing a knack for selling Beckett cards, dude. That's cool.
Yeah, it wasn't extremely intentional. I mean, for the Black Label thing is intentional, but like the BGS 8, for that, it's like I just have faith in the Lugia. I just have faith in the card. But yeah, I have a much easier time with the Beckett cards in the CGC. I have a CGC Gold Star Groudon 8.5 that I've had for months.
So, yeah, CGC has always been tough for me as well.
Yeah. Thanks, Wind Waker, for being in the stream. I'm sure a lot of people that are here now are in the stream. It was really fun.
Yeah, and congrats on 50K, bro. That's intense. I mean, and I also know that you're the kind of person who has developed your channel with a lot of discipline into investing in the long form and not necessarily like trying to hit short form virality.
For sure.
And that's, in this day and age, is like way harder to do, to grow an audience. But as we've talked about either here or before in other areas, that's obviously the kind of audience that you're trying to foster. People that like the longer form stuff. They have a good attention span. They actually might want to do business with you or be a member of your channel or meet you in person, and like, continue to watch where you travel and the types of deals you do, and value the edutainment piece. So I think that you've done a really good job of fostering the right community.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Appreciate that. What's your notable deal?
A quick flip, and it's not always like this, but I worked out a pretty cool quick flip this past weekend. So we were in Maryland at the Beltway Card Show. Shout out to those guys. They put on a great show. Our travel out there was horrible, but that has nothing to do with the show itself. And like the first thing that happened on day one of the show was a vendor who had sent me a DM about a card in advance of the show, came and sold me this card, and it is, or was, a PSA 8 Mysterious Mountains Crystal Charizard. So the Japanese version of the Skyridge Charizard in a PSA 8.
I saw you post that.
Yes. And so we bought that like right when the doors opened, basically. It walked up to the table from a fellow vendor. And then another vendor who was just walking the show that day, about 2-3 hours later, came and bought it from us. And yeah, just a quick flip on a card that was valued above $10,000. So I think that there's a world in which like that's the precise card that I should have held for a little longer, but a quick flip at that caliber of a card is hard to turn down. It can turn a good show into a great show really quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did really well on it, and that's the kind of stuff that can happen when your inventory is kind of a certain size or value and you have a little bit of extra capital. You can buy something big and it can sell the same day, and that can be a game changer.
Love it. Money loves speed, as we occasionally say on this program.
That's right. I know a guy who said that.
Yes. Yeah. So how long did you actually, sorry, I missed it. How long did you end up having the card?
Just a couple hours.
Okay. Well, cool. Sweet. All right, dude. Should we get into the tall grass?
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Where are we going?
I'm pretty sure that place where you encounter that creepy hypno is called Berry Forest. Is that where it is? Someone correct me in the chat. It's one of the Sevi Islands. It's where creepy hypnos hang out and abduct, young minors.
What?
Yeah. Did you play the game, bro?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, creepy hypno abducts that little girl in Berry Forest. I'm pretty sure that's where it is.
Abducts a girl. Oh, yes. One storyline beat. I thought that was like a Pokedex entry.
Yes, they swallow first graders whole. Yeah. So that's what can happen with a hypno. So be careful about that. So that's we're running around in there encountering drowsies, hypnos, and the occasional oddish Bellsprout, that kind of thing.
And in this case, a Rillaboom.
Oh, in this case, a Rillaboom bounces from Gen 8 back to Gen 1.
Indeed. Yeah, folks, this week, I think it's the first time ever we're not going to do Hitmon topics.
Wow.
Because there wasn't anything that noteworthy that happened. We're not going to talk about Jason Page. We think the 30th anniversary cards are cool. Like there wasn't anything we needed to say, unlike the previous week where we really had to kind of filter. So this time around, we're going to talk about what's Rillabooming.
What's Rillabooming, guys? Are you getting this?
Rillabooming. This is a new segment. You tell us if you like it, where we discuss what we're noticing is getting attention right now. So what's about to, or what is currently moving in terms of value? Where is attention going? And you had some observations on this. Maybe you get us started on what's Rillabooming.
Yeah, I think the main segment that came to mind here was alt-art tag team cards. So Lovebirds, we have seen like it like boomed and got to like 15, 16,000, and then it had some sales at 17, and then it kind of cooled off and went back down to 16, and then it comped up to like 20K. And I'm pretty sure, maybe double check my work on this, that's kind of where the Lovebirds PSA 10 is at right now, is about $20,000.
Take a look.
But I mean, all the other tag teams are also kind of doing similar things. We've got the Arceus Dialga Palkia that's gone up to like, I think 7,000 or 8,000 from Cosmic Eclipse. You've got the tag team promos like Mewtwo Mew, Pikachu Zekrom, that kind of stuff have hit new all-time highs. So one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because it's just kind of like a retelling of what has continued to happen for the last 18 months, which is like different areas get the spotlight and just kind of pump and then cool off, and then something else gets the spotlight and pumps and then cools off. Yeah, there it is. $20,000 new cert, Latios Latias.
It was 18 before that. So yeah, on the move, 16, 17, 18, 20.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible. So I think that what's really booming, and one of the reasons I titled this entire program as is the market slowing down, is because we have seen a slowdown in some of those kind of really low pop vintage cards. A lot of those like reverse hollows, especially like the less known ones, are some of the recent auctions are below their all-time highs and stuff. But the money isn't like, it's not like a crashing market. It's just like a shifting of attention to something else, whether it's tag teams. You had an experience with Mewtwo from Breakthrough that I'm sure you can talk about. So, yeah, I'm just still at this place where I don't know exactly what's going to be next, but it seems like there's just going to keep being another next. Like, what's the next hot thing to hit all-time highs?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that Mewtwo a little bit later in another new segment. So spoiler alert, you're getting 2 new segments today, chat. But yeah, it's the Lovebirds and the ADP, the chat's on top of this too. Definitely something we're noticing. Blast Boost is saying mid-era. Blast Boost, you're referring to like mid-era, true mid-era, or like late mid-era XY, black and white type stuff. Let us know in the chat what you're seeing there. But another one that I noticed too is like right now, as opposed to entire categories of things booming, which has been the case recently, where it's like, oh, modern is up. Oh, now it's all tag teams. Now it's all vintage is up. Like as a category, basically every individual card. Now it's a lot more selective to the specific card. Like in the very current market cycle, like just over the last few weeks, it feels like there are certain cards that are flat or moving up, and then some that are like moving down, not getting as much attention. I brought up the when we were prepping for this, Black Bolt and White Flare IRs. They're almost all pretty low population. So it's one of those weird things where it's a modern category thing, but a single sale can kind of like increase the value significantly, or even a single sale can decrease the value significantly. But it seems less like a whole category. You said you had mentioned that you feel like it's cooling off in the reverse hollow stamped cards, but not as much in the big popular Pokemon, right?
Yeah, some of them like Rayquaza, Lugia, Gengar, Charizard, Pikachu, that those kind of like mainline, the blue chip characters are still doing numbers. Umbreon, things like that are still booming for those mid-era low pops. And also, even vintage, like that Shining Gyarados first edition, I think, is also done a record number recently. First edition Umbreon from Neo also done record numbers. So yeah, it's kind of across the board. Like the best of the best is continuing to trend, kind of like we predicted not too long ago, that like there's just still room on the best cards in the hobby to continue to go up.
Yeah. Very interesting stuff, man. Do you have any I guess I don't know if I don't want to give it away if we're going to do it in our elite forecast or something like that. Do you have any predictions or gut feeling on what is next to Rillaboom?
Honestly, guys, like in general, and this isn't part of my elite forecast, I really feel like what is happening this summer is exactly what happened last summer, which is like we all anticipate kind of a summer slowdown, but like it just doesn't happen. Like maybe there's some plateauing and certain cards retrace a little bit, but like I really feel like come September, October, we're just gonna have a whole nother boom.
Okay, let's not elaborate on it because that is so close to what I have down as my elite forecast.
Okay, all right.
So,
Sorry, I didn't even read that. I didn't
no,
read your elite forecast. We're just on the same page.
yeah. I wrote like I have 3 bullets in there that are so along the lines of what we were just talking about here. So we'll have to move on. Okay, so Chinese exclusives. Some people are saying Chinese exclusives just boomed pretty meaningfully, and they're cooling off right now. It's a short. I think it's a really short-term cool off, but a lot of stuff is like 10 or 15% down from like 5 days ago. A few people in the chat said primes. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, I had a Mew Prime 10 that I picked up when it was like 10K, and then it moved like in the 12s, and then I think I just saw someone's asking like 15 on a story sale that I was seeing recently. So seems like the primes. I know the Gengar. I'm pretty sure the Gengar did a record number recently. So again, we're talking about like the top tiers, right? Like the Mew, Gengar,
Brian.
yes, Umbreon, Espeon. Those I think are going to be the ones. Like I have a Machamp Prime that I've had for a while. It's been floating in like that 2,500 to 3,500 range for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to see as much love for the Yen Mega as we are going to see for Gengar.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's what's really booming. Chat, let us know. What do you think of that segment? Do you want to see more? Do you want to see less? Maybe we bring it back another time. Let's move on to some of our quick sponsored segments. We are breezing through today as we expected to. So shout out Double Hollow. As always, we are both part of the team that's helping build Double Hollow. So minor shareholders, we get feedback, trying to make it good. And we are doing payday or false swipe. I keep forgetting that we changed the name. We used to call it plus or minus. Now it's payday or false swipe. It's a bit of a this or that segment using Double Hollow's research and analysis tools where we can compare two things. We on this program tend to like to compare two kind of similar things, often from different eras. That's a lot of how we've been doing it, I feel like. Or like similar cards from different sets, right? We did Gold Zards and things like that. What are we doing today, Jake?
Yeah, so we talked about, or at least I did, about the trend of these tag team singles and PSA 10s going up quite a bit. So I wanted to look at the two kind of main tag team sets, which are Cosmic Eclipse and Team Up, and specifically look at their booster boxes because for many of you, I'm sure you guys know, as like singles and slabs move up, oftentimes boxes can also move. And then when those move, it kind of moves the singles back up. And there's kind of like this positive feedback loop while the one box chase or one item chases the other if they're related like this. And I was curious to see like, okay, if the Latios is a $20,000 card now, how different is the actual box price? So we're looking at Double Hollow. Now, Double Hollow specifically for sealed items is primarily pulling data from TCG players. So these boxes don't transact extremely frequently on TCG. But we can look at the trend line over the last year, and there's enough transactions there, I think, to kind of paint the picture. And what we're seeing here is that, like, yes, Team Up definitely set itself apart, but as it got into like that 8 to 10K range, its movement slowed down, but then it has also reached brand new highs with this reboom. We're up into the, what is that, 11K plus. And I would bet if you looked over at TCG really quickly just to see like what available listings are for Team Up, I bet you it's even higher.
I'll take a look. I got it pulled up on a side tab here. 15 is the only listing, so good call.
Yeah, so low list of 15. Is there a recent sale here at all?
It's probably this 11.3. Oh, 12. Really
12,
recent.
yeah. So guys, we are trending upwards for actual transactions on this Team Up box. You can't get it on TCG for less than 15 right now. Yeah. All it takes is for like those two boxes to get swooped up, and then all of a sudden the entire market moves up to like 15K on this box. So pretty impressive stuff there. And then Cosmic, I think, is I'm pretty sure it's right at 4K. I looked on eBay recently to see like what the very recent transactions are, and they were almost all right at 4,000. And that tells me that whoever's willing to sell at 4,000, once those get bought up, then it can take a good jump up.
It's at
Yeah.
4. Yeah,
Yeah.
4 is the list. Yeah. Yeah. One other thing we wanted to point out with this also is that if a year ago you had $10,000 to put into this era of boxes, you ultimately would have been better off putting that money in the Cosmic box. So once things hit a certain threshold, it kind of prices people out and the movement tends to get a little bit slower, right? Like Cosmic has tripled or quadrupled, maybe tripled in that same period of time, but Team Up has only doubled. Kind of interesting phenomenon there that you always have to kind of pay attention to when you're comparing two great places to, to think of as an investment, or if you care about the future value. Yeah, the Cosmic box had more sort of room to go in terms of a multiple on its original price a year ago.
Yeah, this is a kind of a theme, an argument that I've heard from people who are quote unquote investors in Pokemon cards, and their argument is that modern is a much better move than vintage in general, just because it's still at a price point where it has room to appreciate double, triple, quadruple in price and still be a relatively affordable item. Whereas things that are vintage, because they're already so expensive that they really have to cover a lot of ground to experience the same percentage change.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. And it kind of goes back to, well, why then, if that's the case, then why have we seen all these vintage, especially sealed items, just absolutely explode in the last 12, 24 months? And it just comes back to, because there's a totally new marketplace. There's this marketplace of people who break vintage boxes, and not just like a handful of people on the internet are doing this. Like it used to be like, wow, PokeRev is opening up an EX Dragon box. That's so crazy. And then, he'd have his 50 buyers or whatever who are willing to spend that much money on the packs. There are like 100 channels or more, whether it's through TikTok or whatnot, or other platforms, that are breaking high 5-figure and 6-figure boxes like all the time now.
Yeah.
And that's just introduced a whole new level of liquidity into that market, which means that those prices can rise and the scarcity can increase.
Yep. We cannot understate how different the landscape is right now for opening those sorts of things compared to just a couple of years ago, even.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Awesome. Any other commentary here for Payday or False Swipe?
I guess the name of the segment is this or that, right? I'm a Cosmic believer. I do not understand why this is a $4,000 box. This should be like a $6,000 to $8,000 box, in my opinion. I don't. It seems so cheap for what, like, the set list is so strong, which we're going to get to here in a second.
Yep. Yeah, we are. Yeah, it does seem awfully close to Evolving Skies, though. These also aren't that old, right? It's like 2019.
It's true.
I know it's like, that's a long time in hobby terms, but in fully zoomed out terms, I was sort of like, oh yeah, it's only 2019. It's only 7 years old.
Yeah. Cosmic is also a set where, like, the Pokemon Company was willing to print a lot of like loose packs of Cosmic in different collection boxes and tins. Team Up, it was not that way. Team Up, you found it in booster boxes, sleeved packs, or I think you could also get it in that Armored Mewtwo tin. There were just not that many products with Team Up in it.
Yeah. Dollar General Team Up packs with 3 cards in them.
Sure, yeah. Those there were some tag team tins that like certain print runs of them had Team Up packs, but just not very many ancillary products.
Yeah. Yeah, you had mentioned this in our prep too, that like this probably has, aside from the fact that obviously Team Up is very top heavy with the Lovebirds, which we'll talk about in a second, that the print run for Cosmic was just much larger, and so that supply, a lot of this difference is potentially attributable to supply. It's an interesting thing that you have to kind of keep an eye on if you're making bets on these sorts of sets, I guess. So I guess that's probably a good place to transition into our next segment. So shout out to Double Hollow. Thanks again. if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. There's I think it's a free trial now. There's a bunch of tools that you can use for free on without premium, and you can use me or Jake's code and upgrade to premium with a discount if you want to, if you decide that you like it. Let's move on to our segment from Collector, which is Pikachu's the better set. And we've already got Blast Boost and Wind Waker arguing in the comments here. Well, not arguing. They're essentially just echo chambering that Cosmic is the best set of Sun and Moon. Love Cosmic Eclipse, favorite modern set of all time. Cosmic is better than Team Up. That is exactly what we're going to discuss here, and we're going to use Collector to visualize it and lead our conversation. So shout out to our friends at Collector. I've started working with them directly on my channel now, and they've been so awesome to work with. They're super generous and easy and reasonable people. So I always love it when a product I actually use is led by people that I actually enjoy like interacting with. This is certainly one of those cases. So we've made a couple portfolios here, and we're comparing Team Up and Cosmic Eclipse's top 20. So let's start real quick on value.
Phew.
Okay, 8,000. This is the top 20 chase cards by value. Team Up's top 20 there at about 8. Cosmic at almost exactly half, 4.1.
Wow.
Was that what you were expecting, or is that a surprise?
I thought Cosmic would be higher, honestly.
Yeah, I did too. I was thinking it was going to be, if I did Team Up first when I was building this, and I thought, oh, Cosmic's going to come in at like 6 or something. So Cosmic, it's interesting. Let's look at these sets, right? Team Up, very top heavy. And honestly, this card in a raw near mint doesn't trade that often. So this data is probably like pulling from TCG Player, but a near mint copy of this, PSA 9 of this, pretty equivalent, will sell for 3.5 to 4K all day.
PSA 9 is closer to 5K now.
Is it really? Is PSA 8 closer to 4 then?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure PSA 8 is closer to near mint raw.
Wow. Okay. So we've got a couple really big cards here. It kind of drops off after the third card, but you were talking about this, right? Like in terms of the depth of the set, once you get past those first 5 or so cards here in Team Up, in my opinion, it gets a little less exciting.
Yeah, I mean, especially compared to like modern artworks.
Yeah, sure.
But like the thing about Team Up, like JT is mentioning, is it has a super strong Pokemon lineup as far as which characters are on the main chases.
Yeah.
Latios, Gengar, Magikarp, Gengar, Snorlax, Eevee, Pikachu, Snorlax, like, you know, it's doing a lot of good things there at the top as far as characters.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. They threw everything but Mewtwo and Rayquaza in there.
Yeah.
Let's look at Cosmic.
So good, dude. So
those first 4 arts are really awesome.
I really think that ADP is just it's an iconic card for me.
It is. We've talked about that card almost every episode for the last 10 episodes. We can't help it. It is awesome. It's really
good. I own one. Thank heaven.
It's really sick. I had one in a PSA 10 in Japanese earlier this year or late last year. It was like a $500 card. I'm sure it's more than that now in Japanese, which it deserves to be. But it's actually one of the very few things that I had in inventory, and I was like, wow, I really like it. I'm going to leave it in inventory. And I sold it, and I never really got offered another one again. And I kind of regret it. Like, I wish I had that card in English and Japanese PSA 10. But, you know, this Blastoise Piplup is sweet. This Solgaleo Lunala, these are great cards. This secret rare Pika is awesome. The Pika in red.
Yeah, I actually just sold that card in Maryland. I think it went for like $2,100 in a 10.
Yeah.
Wow. Very strong card.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. We were talking about you like this Vileplume. I do too. I kind of feel like I need it.
Yeah, so this is an interesting card because it's one of very few Sun and Moon cards that is a textured alt art that's not a tag team card.
Wow, that's deep ball knowledge.
Yeah, there's a Sil Valley that is a similar situation, but there's just not very many of them in the entire generation, and that Vileplume is one of them.
Cool. Even the trainers here, man, like
Lily and a friggin' red and blue, Cynthia,
Professor Oak. Yeah. And people love N.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty stacked lineup. of trainers, and really marked this era. Really, you can tell where the Pokemon was heading, right, with their arts and styles and ideas.
Yeah.
It's really
Interesting because they're experimenting as well, right? So they've got alt arts and then they've got rainbows of
Yep.
some of the alt arts,
Yep.
which they do not do in Sword and Shield.
Right. They only do it of the full arts.
Correct. They rainbow the regular VMAXs.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that is, and you know, it's like it's interesting to experiment with that. Maybe they thought people were gonna like it, and there are definitely people who like it. I do think having the same art repeated 3 or 4 variants, you know, like this ugly color background, Latios, and then
Yeah.
like a rainbow version of the same thing, and it's like obviously, you know, this is a goated card all time, but like these top 3 cards from both of these sets are really on a different level. And then the rainbows were like, for me, like kind of a miss. Like it definitely, it almost pads the set. Like if you're opening these packs and you hit this puke green Latios or this I don't know, rainbow Celebi Venusaur, as opposed to like they have an awesome promo from this era with Celebi Venusaur gets like multiple awesome cards, but these ones are just like, they're not on the same level, which I know that they're intended to be, but not to be. But
yeah, it's also a shame that some of the best artworks from this whole generation were the tin promos, right? So you've got Celebi Venusaur, Eevee Snorlax, Mewtwo Mew, Garchomp Giratina. A lot of these like iconic artworks are just promos.
Yep.
And so I really think that if those are pack pulls, then these sets are just like on a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of similar takes in the chat here. Team Up Gengar alt art is kind of mid.
Some other good ball knowledge for the crew here. So this Magikarp Wailord, another one of the very few alt arts that does not receive a regular GX as a pull in the pack. The regular GX for this card is actually a promo in a box called like Towering Waters or Towering Splash or something like that. And it is an extremely hard card to grade. I think it's like pop 9 or 10. Yeah, so that's the box and then the promo there. Yep, exactly. So that regular size promo, it's like a single digit or maybe pop 10 or 11.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it just had an auction, a PSA 10 copy for like 15K or something like that. Like this is an extremely rare card. I actually owned a copy of it last year. And it's one of those cards that if you're the person who wants to get all the tag teams, then you have to own this card in a PSA 10. And you know, it's you and then maybe 8 or 10 other people on the planet who are going to get to own this card if you want to have a full tag team set.
Wow. Weird ball knowledge. Why do you know all that?
Because I owned the card. I walked up to my table at Card Party in June last year, and there were no comps. Okay, so this was like the beginning of my not the beginning, but this was one of my experiences of buying low comp or low pop for like way more than comps. They walked up to my table. At this time, the alt art tag team was worth like, I think 3K, something like that. It had already boomed. And the promo walked up to the table and the guy was like, I want $2,200 for it. I think he had graded it himself. And at that time, like the justification was tough because it was like, yes, it's low pop, but like we're talking about a card that is at the time was like maybe $30 or $40 raw. And the ask was to pay nearly as high as the alt art PSA 10 price for this card with no comps. I think the only comp was from 2024 for $100. And so he wanted 22. And I was like, you know what? I'm willing to take a gamble on it. I'm willing to just, you know, see if there's somebody out there who wants all the tag teams. And I paid him $1,800. And then I sold it maybe 2 or 3 months later privately for $7,000. And now the public comp is well into the 5 figures. So just goes to show that like actually rare things, people want them.
Well said. People want rare things. You heard it here, y'all. Maybe that's a good transition point into our next segment.
Let's do it.
You're laughing at the name. You love the name.
No, I'm laughing at how I'm going to be absolutely crucified for rare things. People want them in the chat here pretty shortly.
Ah, yes. Wind Waker will come up with something good there. People want rare things. Yes. How are you on the spectrum of health, by the way? Real quick spectrum of health check-in.
I'm off the horse, dude. I need to refocus. That I'm like, every time that I am like, okay, I need to lock in. I have a travel weekend like I had this past weekend where I was gone from my house for 60 hours and 30 of those 60 hours were complicated travel issues.
Yeah, it's tough.
So like I miss like an entire night of sleep and just, but we're hanging in there. How are you?
I slept, this is like a record, 9 hours and 39 minutes last night.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm probably
no wonder your face is so shiny and healthy.
Oh, is that, you think so? I'm glowing today?
Yeah, it's the skincare. The forehead is tight.
Oh, thank you so much. I thought maybe it was just getting too much sun.
No.
Just, getting too dewy here, but yeah. Overall good, man. And then lifted yesterday, picked up some weights and put them down, did some jiu-jitsu. So I'm feeling like I'm on the spectrum of health, no doubt.
Good for you, man.
Thanks, man. Okay, our next and final segment for today is a new one. It is called, drum roll please, Shining Oyama Pop 1, baby. Yeah, Pop 1. It's not, it is rare that I'm shining.
Pop actually, 1, that's a pimple joke.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, bro.
Anyway,
I'm getting old here.
Our new segment is called Clef Keys to Success.
The Clef Keys to Success.
The Clef Keys to Success.
What exactly is a clef key to success here, Ricky?
A clef key to success is buy, sell, trade, or collect game. Just a little bit of free game. We're always giving out free game on this show, but this is really deliberately giving out free game about buy, sell, trade, collect, maybe vend, grade, as Ern would say. And I'm willing to start here. I actually wrote a lot. We'll see how much of it I actually get through. So I just posted a buyer POV, and one of the questions I got a lot on it was, how do you know what to buy? Or like, how do you buy at 90% and make it work? And the short answer is experience and buying what I like and what I know other people like. And the longer answer is to just pay attention to the things people aren't paying attention to. And don't paint yourself into a corner by making a speculative bet that you need to pan out like really quickly. So someone actually said it in the chat, like pay attention to things that people aren't paying attention to. Some of the examples of ones that worked and ones that didn't. First one is that Mewtwo, we were talking about, the breakthrough Mewtwo.
So nice.
Yeah, you showed this off once, and I thought, oh, that must be an expensive card. And then I looked it up, and it was like $1,000. Or the second time I saw it, it was like $1,000. I was like, what? I thought that was a $3,000 card. And so I was like, it should be $3,000. It's a very cool card. It hasn't been pumped yet. It's Pop 400. It's like a somewhat rare card. Very cool art. It's a top 10 popular Pokemon. So I grabbed 3 of them, as people know, and a Japanese one, but 3 of them in English at like 1.2K. And someone tagged me yesterday. I don't pay very close attention to these prices, but someone tagged me the other day. I think they said they sold one for 2.7, or they saw one sold for 2.7. That was about 2 months ago.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was an example where it was like, oh, I was right. The fundamentals worked there, and I was right really quickly. So I looked smart because I was paying attention to things that people weren't looking at, and it was something I liked, and I made a little bet. At the same time, I also bought, like in February, I want to say, a handful of Chilling Reign booster boxes on the exact same principles. I was like, this is a cool set. It's $500 box. It's cheap. Fusion Strike's 1K. Silver Tempest is the same price. Chilling Reign boxes are down 10% from the time that I was hoarding them. So I think in a year or two, we'll look back and go, oh, wow, how Oyama got it right. And I'll just get to, come on a podcast and say, yeah, it was underrated set. No one was paying attention to it. Everyone was obsessed with Destined Rivals and Ascended Heroes and all that. But in the short term, like, I look dumb. Like I've lost hundreds of dollars on that play in the short term, but it's fine. Like I don't care. I have a long enough time horizon there. I did something really similar with Terrestrial Umbreons. because when Prismatic was coming out, it seemed like it was really, really hard to pull a specific card. So I was like, no one's going to be able to get that Umbreon. Everyone's going to want the English Umbreon. They're going to turn to the Japanese one. People aren't paying as much attention to the Japanese one. It's only like $500. I bought like 5 of them, and then they just hovered around $450 to $500 for literally a year. I eventually sold them off because I was like, I just want to keep circulating the money. I don't actually care to hold on to these, even though in the long run it'll be fine. And nowadays they're like, I want to say 700-800 something.
Yep.
So they did recover, and they did go to a level like that's what I thought was going to happen. I just thought it was going to happen on this Mewtwo timeline. I thought I was going to look smart. I bought 5 of them for 500, and they would go to 800 in like 2 months. Right. I was wrong, but when you zoom out to a year, I was right. So that all being said, my 2 clef keys to success for me today is if you have the goal of value appreciation in some of the things you buy, look where people aren't looking. It's really hard to catch things on the way up. Like as they're going up, it's just hard. You can do it, but it's hard to know like where the top is. I bought a bunch of Chinese exclusive 10s recently, and they're all down 10% from when I bought them a week ago. So again, this is one of those where on a week basis, I look dumb, and maybe on a 2-month basis, I'll look smart, or maybe on a year basis, I'll look smart. But then the second thing is that if you want to take a chancey on things like this, don't force yourself to sell at a loss because you put half your Poké net worth on one speculative move, or you put like half your actual net worth, or you went into credit card debt on a play that like your life is ruined, or things really slow down in your collecting journey or in your vending journey or whatever, however you interact with the hobby. Don't like gum up your machine or your journey by betting too hard on something that you need to pan out really quickly for it to have been a good idea. Because I'm just giving an example. Sometimes it works on a 2-month basis and you look smart. Sometimes it takes a year. Sometimes it never pans out. In this case, though, like if you look at a long enough time horizon and you pick things that are good, things that people like, that have those fundamentals like Mewtwo's and Umbreons and good sets and things like that, it's going to work out. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. The time horizon question it's one of those things that the internet just cannot comprehend because it's actually nuanced. And the idea of buying something and, it not going up in the whatever arbitrary short-term amount of time that the internet deems as a smart decision, and then all of a sudden you end up with egg on your face. Like the truth is, and this is actually my clef key to success.
Ooh.
The truth is that this is a hobby that's here to stay. At least I believe it is, and I think you do, and so do many of the people in the chat.
Yep.
And if the hobby is here to stay, then these items are going to carry value and incrementally increase in value because the quantity of them erodes every year as things get opened or lost or whatever. And so if things have that power to appreciate over time, then the best way, and again, this is going to sound super obvious, and I've said it before, but the best way to really increase your collection and, build up what Ricky and I kind of consider our Poké net worth or our enormous, snowball of Pokemon value, you have to be a net buyer of cards and items month over month over month over month over month for a long period of time to really get to that point where you have just tons of stuff, or at least tons of value.
Yeah.
In your collection, in your binders and in your sealed items and in your slabs and all that kind of stuff. In the grading pile, yes, like Summit says, it's over the course of years. You build it up over time. And how do you become a net buyer? Well, that is the part that we talk about every day. And we're not talking about, just dumping tons of money from your day job into your Pokemon addiction. That's not what we're referring to. We're referring to gaining the skills and the nuance and making the plays and developing the network that allow you to buy, sell, trade, grade, vend, flip your way into just incrementally growing your collection over time. And so I actually want to take this all the way back to the video that I made in 2020. 2004 about why I was going full time in the hobby.
Wow.
At that time, had the day job. It was, it was a 6-figure day job. I had stock options. Everything was, seemed to be exactly where I would want it to be as a, 30-year-old in corporate. But I wanted to step away, and there were a lot of reasons why we felt comfortable. But one of the ones we say in that video is because over the course of the 3 years previous to that, I had built up a collection that if stuff really hit the fan, if push came to shove and I needed runway because the business that we were starting was not successful, then we had that to fall back on. And yes, in theory, could that have been stocks and bonds and real estate and cash holdings and cryptocurrency? And that, yes, it could have been, but it can also be collectibles. And that's where I think that the industry is at now, especially for us who are in it and have developed an acumen for sourcing and selling. It makes this stuff a lot more viable as an actual asset that to operate very similarly to those other things that I mentioned.
I love it. Yes. We talk about the snowball and the dragon's hoard all the time. You got to sit on. And obviously, look, you can do it. Like you and I also use it to fund the collection and opening packs and things like that. Like we still participate in the hobby that way because our way in was that we like it, like most people who watch this program probably. So.
Yep. So a good example of that. So I make this flip at the show in Maryland, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself, about my little flip. And so somebody walks up with some Ascended Heroes booster bundles. I'm like, you know what? We made a load of bit of money. Let's buy some bundles and rip them. Did I pull anything? No, I got obliterated. But it was, it was fun money.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very top of mind for me, having just been in Vegas for my cousin's bachelor party, that at the end of the day, you need to be responsible. However, money is fun coupons. Like what you don't take it with you, exchange it occasionally for fun. And opening packs can be fun. So it can also be painful, but as you experience it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, y'all. Clef keys to success. You let us know in the chat. You let us know in the comments on the VOD. Did you like What's Rilla Booming and Clef Keys to Success? Do you want to see more of those? Do you miss any of the other segments that we kind of rotate through, like Gyarados of Reality and Take a Chancey and Clefumble? We haven't done a far-fetched idea in a long time, so we have a lot of good ones, and hopefully you liked those and you let us know. Jake, does this put us 1 hour? Yes, exactly where we want it to be. We want to do an extended Q&A. Let's spend another hour or so on Q&A. Yeah, we have 25 starred comments in the chat here already.
Yeah, the time has come, guys, for all 300 of you to ask your questions. We have a lot of them starred already. We're going to get started on answering some questions, but the rest of this is an extended Q&A. Haven't done one of these in a minute, so that's what we're going to do for the rest of our time today. So make sure you ask a question. Put a big question mark on it or the word question, and that will make it easy for us to find. And we're going to get started on some of the ones that have popped up since we started the stream earlier.
Yes, we will. I'm going to start with Speka, who gave us a $5 super chat here.
Thanks, Speka, for the $5.
Small vendor here, and I got absolutely cooked trying to get Collecticon tables. How do you source spots for these super large shows? Big fan of you both. Thanks for following us both, Speka.
Oh,
you got short one.
The short answer here is network, Speka. You have to know, a vendor or a group of vendors who are already in, and get a table from them because someone else drops out or they don't need all of their tables or whatever it may be. That's like the low complexity answer. The one thing I will add here is that no one should be surprised that these tables are an expensive commodity. If getting into a Collecticon is perceived as a huge opportunity to make money and to do business, and those tables are limited, it should be understood that those are going to be hard to get. Now, I might be in a different situation just because I've built this business to the point where we have enough capital that we can reserve almost all of our vendor tables for the entire year in advance. And that requires a lot of capital up front. But it also means that I don't have to worry about chasing down tables every other week, which is a great feeling, saves me time. Is it the absolute cheapest way to do it? Probably not. But it's a justified expense, and is built into what we're trying to do and the margins that we need. And so it's just kind of part of the deal for us.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Network again, kind of harkening to something I said earlier in this program, on the spectrum of what you know versus who you know. Who you know is just something that I have benefited from so much in my life and in my career, and certainly in this phase of my career, if you want to call this that, which I do. Like people are asking me, for example, there's a San Mateo, San Francisco, like a local Collecticon coming later this year, and people have asked me many times, will we be at that? And my expectation is that I will not be able to get tables through their website. I will try, as I always do, and I always fail because the website goes down and then they get like botted and sold. But what I do know is that I have positive relationships with like 50 vendors in the Bay Area. I'm gonna know somebody in or out of the Bay Area who got a couple of Collecticon tables for our local one. So I pretty confidently am telling people like, yeah, I expect to be that one. Or to be at that one, because I know people who, you know, we can work something out, and that I can probably get hooked up with. So yeah, knowing people is a big thing here. Even knowing people, by the way, for Front Row is way stricter than Collecticon about table sharing. You cannot like resell your tables to another vendor. Someone else can't show up in your place. And they really don't like it if you don't show up on time and leave on time, you know, like all that sort of stuff, which is great. Them being particular makes for what now has the reputation of probably being the best show in the United States at this point. They are hard to get tables there because they're in demand, but I got a lot of advice from people who have relationships with the people who run those shows on what those people want to see from their vendor candidates. And I followed some of that advice in getting in touch with them. I exercised a lot of sales skills from throughout my corporate tech sales career, and essentially cold prospected them for a week straight, and got on their radar. So that's still like I put some elbow grease into it, but that still ultimately boils down to I wouldn't have known exactly what to do and how I might approach it my way if I had not known people who could give me some advice on it. So who you know. Oh, we got this question earlier, Jake, from Patch Edit. When's the membership opening again? Did I miss the news in May?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Ricky and I, we did a cohort of like direct mentorship for it was 4 guys, right?
4.
And that started at the beginning of this year.
Yep.
And we have basically wrapped up the formal part of that first cohort. And we learned a lot about the best way to kind of deliver information about how to really get up to speed on buy, sell, trade, and vend, and content create, and network, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And
we have distilled it into a version 2 of the consultation service, and it's a totally different beast now. But we're excited to announce that cohort 2 applications are going to be live very, very soon, if not possibly by the end of the stream. Ricky, what do you think? When should we let people kind of apply for cohort 2?
I've got the link copied on my clipboard. I can hit Control V into the chat here, and then they would have it.
Wow, I think that sounds fun. So for all of you who might be interested in that, we've got a sign up process. We've got a website. It's all very formal these days. But if you would like to, how did David phrase it? Does it get strapped to a rocket ship, something like that?
He said we free soloed it and we're just strapped to his back now, was how he phrased it.
Yes, exactly. So if you'd like some help, some direct content from us, a class style sort of program working directly with us, then check out the consultation service. Any additional points you'd make on that, Ricky? It's live now.
No, I'll just yeah, sure. I'll call out that we had a lot of fun doing it. All 4 of the people in that cohort had great results with it. One of them was really focused on content and was already a pretty good vendor, and he got monetized with our assistance on YouTube. He had a video that got viewed a lot. Like we were really guiding him through how to like focus the way to build the packaging of the video and the intro of the video. And he really ended up, after a few long forms that did okay, nailed it. I think that video has like 40,000 views now, dude.
Yep, I watched it. It was great. Really good positive feedback in the comment section. So the content piece, all 4 of the people that we worked with have built out their Instagram profiles. They're doing story sales. They're interacting with other vendors really frequently. And they've all experienced exponential growth in their inventory value.
Yeah.
One of them went from 10 to 50.
2 of them went from 10 to 50.
2 of them went from 10 to 50 plus.
He had 50 today. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's, I don't know, the results have been pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously it's not just attributable to us, but yeah, anyway, we don't need a whole thing to be a plug, but if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description and maybe we'll share it out a little bit more. But yeah, we're excited, and there's a lot of information there on that program if that's for you. It is more for like beginner vendors and not people who are like really, really experienced in vending. All right. Clayton Eskies said, where do you think the Van Gogh Pika find his balance and value? It's still raising with the high pops. What a cool name Oyama's trading. I love his art so much. Thanks. So where do we think Van Gogh Pikachu falls, I think, is the core question here.
I don't think about this card much anymore, honestly. It just seems like right now it's like a 3K card, maybe 3,200, something like that.
Yep. About 3. 31.
It's Pikachu. It's iconic. Everybody knows it. It's going to be hard for it to depreciate just because there's still people finding out about it and thinking that it's really, very collectible, really desirable. So I don't know. 3K seems reasonable. Also, if it went down to 1,000, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's high pop. It's one of those also, like, there's a little bit of that tomfoolery with the meme strategy group buying a lot of it. It is tremendously high pop. It's been hovering around. It's one of those cards that we kind of talked about earlier. Some things are kind of flat, like surprisingly stable right now. That is one of those cards that's been right around the same value, raw, sealed, PSA 9 and PSA 10 for like over a month now, which is kind of a long time in the current market. So yeah, I think 3 is about right. I kind of like that card around that price, but I'm with you, dude. If it went to 1, especially if things correct, that's the kind of thing people are going to dump. Like if the whole market corrects 30 or 40%, I feel like that one could get hit harder proportionally.
Yeah, great point.
Javern Raw said, if you could change one thing about the hobby currently, what would it be?
Initial print quantity of brand new product.
That's an interesting angle on what I was gonna say scalpers, but you're addressing the problem. You're getting more to the root of the scalping thing. That would fix that problem.
Yeah. I think there's no reason why Wave 1 shouldn't just be absolutely freaking enormous.
Yeah.
And I think it will be. I think that's their angle with the new print facility. I think their angle is going to be just absolutely wash the world in Pokemon for new releases.
Yeah, I love it.
Because like I want my stuff to appreciate in value, and that is still so utterly possible just with the power of time. It does not make sense for like brand new stuff to be so expensive.
Totally.
And believe it or not, guys, like although a lot of companies with like grandfathered in distribution accounts, like they are making larger margins on initial waves of product, that relative come up for them is not worth the headache of being out of stock instantly on week 1 and having to restock from the secondary market and pay more than they're used to paying on second, on additional waves and releases. Most of the companies, LGSs and the like, that I've we've talked to about this problem would much rather have things be much more affordable on release, just like the collectors would.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably the main thing.
Yeah, well said. We have 38 starred items here and more coming. So maybe do you want to speed run a couple of them? I mean,
yeah. Maybe we do our best to be like succinct.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so let's jam through a few that I think we can be really succinct on. Mick, do we plan on creating a mentorship tier for intermediate vendors? Maybe eventually, but we want this program to be scalable first.
Yeah, same. I mean, intermediate is kind of a relative term.
Yeah.
It still might be a fit for you as it is now, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, agreed.
That's why we have the application process.
It is. And it's why applying doesn't guarantee you, because we want it to be valuable for you. One of the reasons we chose the beginner stage, by the way, is because just the upside is really high there. The curve is really like steep, and to go from intermediate to advanced is like, it's going to take more time. It's going to take more, it's going to take more everything. Whereas like getting somebody from like 0 to 50,000 in 6 months is we already did that. We know what that takes. And it's so obvious to people when they get in, like within 2 weeks, they're like, oh, I would have paid more than I paid for this. The ROI is really clear there. So that was why we chose to start there, as much as we loved it. In a lot of ways, this program is talking to intermediate vendors in some parts. Neolog says, what is considered low pop, less than 1,000? We've answered this before. I think we had said somewhere around 250, but it's a little bit relative.
It depends on the era too. Like everything low is an adjective, and adjectives require context. So like low in Sword and Shield might be like, 3,000. Low in mid-era might be like 50. So it just depends on what we're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. But if we have to pick a number, I think we had said 250.
If I have to generalize and not be correct, then yeah, I think 250 to 300 is fair.
Yes, exactly. Yes. remove all nuance and just say something blank, some blanket term that'll make the internet happy.
Yeah, if I have to say something that'll get me clipped and make me wrong, then I'll say it like this.
Perfect. Blast Boost, $20 in the chat. Thanks, man. With all the modern going insane prices, would you rather have a Lovebirds 10 for 18K, or would you rather buy a super low pop mid-era card of a very popular species for 9 to 10K? Which would you bet long-term to be higher? Ooh.
If we're asking about value appreciation, then the latter I would rather have.
That's what my gut was too. For the same thing we talked about with Cosmic versus team up boxes, basically.
Yeah, if value appreciation is the most important thing to you, Blast Boost, then the older card in this case would be better. Obviously, also your entry point is half the price, so like that sounds good too. Lovebirds at 18 to 20,000 right now, like that's all-time high, and it's a higher pop card. I think Lovebirds is like pop 3,000. Now, it's always going to be more liquid than something from the mid-era. Like Lovebirds is extremely liquid, even at $20,000.
Yeah.
So that's a nice thing to have in your back pocket, because it's basically a $20,000 bill.
Yes. Loop Cortez, have you guys ever done door-to-door sales? I feel like my time in sales has helped me a lot in vending and overall communication.
Not only have I done door-to-door sales, but I've also been an overseas missionary. So I have lots of this kind of experience. My first big job out of college was high net worth investment phone sales, where I was making like 250 calls a day. So like, been there, bro.
I've not really done door-to-door sales as a real job, but I have. Most of my career was in tech sales. Some of that involved in-person enterprise dealing and stuff. Some of it involved, not dissimilar to what Jake is describing, just showing up at someone's office with a box of cookies and sitting around in the lobby for them to pay attention to you. So yeah, it definitely helps. It's definitely a skill set that can help in this world. Control Alt Drew asks, are y'all venturing out to CGC for lower tier grading now, trying the Black Label lottery?
No shot, not even a little.
What about BGS?
I will send one card to BGS, and it's because I think that their lower grade criteria is more favorable than PSA for certain high-end cards.
Lower grade criteria?
Yeah, so a BGS 7 is typically much less clean than a PSA 7.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting how there's that, like, it really tilts on the 10 and the black label. Totally. I've seen the same thing. Same thing with CGC too. It's often like a grade difference.
Yeah.
I did send JT, if you're in the chat, you tell them how many cards we sent. I do not know. I just collect cards and then I hand them to JT and he takes care of this for me nowadays. So we did just submit something between 10 and 20 cards to BGS and a few to PSA that were worthy of the $70 tier. Not doing CGC right now. Ern plays this CGC volume game a lot, so he'd be a better person to kind of ask about that if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask. I just sent 52 cards to PSA in the Express tier. Like my grading bill is going to be $8,500 minimum. That's with no upcharges. Like it's probably going to be more like, I don't know, 20,000 based on the cards that I sent.
Sweet. You're just grading mogging me now too.
No, it's not bragging to get charged 20K on your credit card. I'm just saying it's a necessary evil, and it's pure evil, but it's necessary.
But it's like having a big tax bill, though. It means it's a champagne problem. It's like, oh, I had to pay $100,000 in taxes. Yeah, you made 250 this year. You know, it's one of those problems.
Yeah, true.
Candice Morrison, how do print lines and corner lips affect grading? They're on so many Scarlet Violet era cards. They negatively affect your grade.
Next
question. What percent of your guys' inventory from Alex 4669 3 A's? What percent of your inventory do you guys typically sell at shows?
Probably. It varies, but I'm going to say average 15 to 20%.
Yeah. So when this is hard to answer because it's also so relative. It's so contextual. When I had a smaller inventory, I could sell about a third at a show reliably. And now with a larger inventory, it's probably closer to 20%. We're just too nuanced to
You're so full-time, bro. Sorry. I'm just so like right now, you're so full-time and so sweaty now. I love it. The version of you now compared to the version of you when we started this is utterly a different person. I love it.
Oh wow, a different person.
Well, I mean, like your how you're viewing this hobby is utterly different. I love it.
Sure. I hear you. It's my job now.
Yes.
And I love it, dude. It doesn't feel like a job, honestly, most days.
No, it's great.
It only feels, man, I don't know how you do the back-to-back travel weekends. That was the only time where me and JT were kind of like, didn't love getting on a plane 4 times in 8 days. Every other part of it is just the best, dude.
Yeah, I don't love that.
Yeah, don't love that part. J Takes been really engaged in the chat today. Thanks for being here, J Takes. Do you think the Crystal Lugia price goes up or down by being included in the 30th set?
I see the Crystal Lugia card as one of the creme de la creme cards in this hobby. And so I think it will continue to go up regardless of what happens with the 30th anniversary Lugia. I think that the bigger question is, I think that the 30th anniversary Lugia is just going to piggyback on the huge demand for Crystal Lugia original from Aquapolis. That's all I think. I don't think it has any sort of like, 30th anniversary. Because like the number of people, this is going to sound kind of, maybe lame, but the number of people that are going to pull a Crystal Lugia 30th anniversary stamp card and then immediately be able to afford the actual Crystal Lugia and then source one is actually going to be minuscule, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a hard card to own.
Yeah. Hella Strong 5309 with a $10 super chat earlier. Thank you for that. How is Chinese Mew EX in a 10 hitting 70K when exclusive Japanese lottery shinings are black and white full art Rayquaza EX 145 super rare card set to get? PSA 10s are lower pop and same price. Are the lotteries undervalued?
I think Chinese Mew is overvalued now. I think 70 is too high. This is a retrace waiting to happen.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I get population. That's a very limited card and stuff, but like, Coral Mew is like half that.
Yes.
Not that those are extremely related, but I'm just pointing out, like, same character, iconic card, rare old card. You know, like they're somewhat of a comp, and that card, that old rare card, is half that price. Yeah, I'm with you. 70 is way too high. What do you think this new should be?
Right now, 30. Yeah, I'm comfortable like 30 to 40K.
Right around where a Coral Mew has been.
I really feel like this card has just been pumped to death. I mean, the Trader John's like was speculatively asking 50K for his at Card Party San Diego 3 weeks ago. You're telling me that it should have pumped $20,000 more in the last 3 weeks? Like, it's just being pumped, and that's all there is to it. It's a pumped card.
Poke Cowboy TCG. Not sure I'll have a chance to ask during the stream, but I have a lower pop pricing question. What price point / time since last public sale do you start comping to low list?
I don't comp anything to low list. Really. Like I want to be under, unless I feel like my copy is better. You know, that can happen. But if I'm actually trying to sell something, then I feel like I probably need to price it under what's available. Otherwise, why buy it from me? Other than, you know, the obvious things, like if you buy on eBay, then, you know, there's risk and they have to ship it to you and all that kind of stuff. So if I feel like my copy is better, and it's like, but this is such a nuanced question, dude. Like, because it varies by card, it varies by grade, it varies by condition, it varies by the specific copy we're talking about. Like, yeah. This question literally is literally $1 million question. Like, if you are on the right side of knowing how to price your cards based on this question, then you will make a lot of money in this hobby.
I'll try my hand at an additional bit of context to this, which is that assuming low pop also means doesn't sell very often. I do this with black labels as well, right? Sometimes you're speculating based on what a comparable thing from that same era might have done since some period. So I see this a lot with like rare vintage cards where the last sale was in March. Okay, like if we are tapped into how the market, how the hobby has changed since February or March, we can potentially extrapolate out, hey, look, this other thing from that same era that sold in March for $5,000 just sold for 15. Maybe it's reasonable and there's no low listing or whatever, or maybe the low listing is 3x. It's like we're somewhere in the 2 to 3x, maybe we're 2.5x over the previous comp. Like, it's not a perfect science. To Jake's point, it's very nuanced, but that's an example of like when that comp is 3 or 4 months old, you start to just kind of think like, what has the overall graph of that same era or same category of card done in that time period? Pokebro JT super chatted us. He doesn't need to do that. I pay him. I pay him a base salary. But okay. Just because he feels lucky to be friends with 2 Supreme Ball knowers. Random question. What's your favorite non-card Pokemon product in your PC?
Non-card Pokemon
non-card Pokemon product.
Bro, JT, I'm so deep in this, bro. Because I started my collection in video games before I got into cards.
Right.
I've got tons of badass video game stuff. Sealed games, you know, like sealed first print yellow version. That's probably like, honestly, it's probably like a 20K game if I got it graded at PSA.
Jeez.
I got sealed games. I've got tons of complete in-box consoles. Yeah, just all that kind of cool stuff. What about you, Ricky?
I don't have anything on the same like collectibles level as that. This scissor is cool. Obviously, it's a unique thing. It was a gift from a good friend of mine. A lot of the stuff back here that isn't cards is gifts. This sitting plush. JT got this for me in Japan. I have a Gengar, like sleepy Gengar plush that is my pillow that I hug when I sleep. So I'm pretty attached to that guy.
It's good for you to get good skin to skin contact with Gengar.
Exactly. Yes, it's father son bonding is exactly how I like to think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't have anything that's like quite the same thing. It's more I have more like little keepsakes like this, little sentimental things. Nothing that super.
Do you like how I just kind of snuck in a sentence that you affirmed? So now I know that you sleep with your shirt off.
What is your guys? You see what I have to deal with? For every 2 hours of podcast that you all watch, I have a few more hours of time with Jake in any given month, and this is what I have to deal with.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. You're right.
You're right. I do actually. You want to know another thing though? Is I got an 8 sleep recently. You know what that is?
That's for rich people.
Sure, yeah, it's a privileged thing to get to purchase. It's pretty nice to have control over the temperature of the surface of your bed, and so now it cools me down a lot. And so sometimes I actually will wear like a crew neck sweater in the winter because it does get cold here in the Bay a little bit. Not too super cold, but yes, in the summer I sleep with my shirt. What do you sleep in, Jake?
Same, bro.
Okay.
Underpants. You know what it is.
Perfect. Swag, dude. Swag. So Frank Picasso just says, "Why so awesome?" with the $5 super chat. Thank you,
Frank. Frank, you're so awesome. Love you, bro. Frank. Okay. Everybody needs to know Frank. Frank is one of the original people in the vendor space that just like welcomed me in with open arms. Before I had any YouTube videos out, met him. I think I first met him at the Front Row Vegas in 2024, before the one I attended as a patron. He was there vending, and since then, just always been so generous, has gifted me cards, has bought me dinners. What a guy. We love you, Frank.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, Savvy collects. Do you think that we are in the good times of the hobby right now, as of buying sealed singles or slabs? As in?
In the good times, I think the same, and this is true for most asset classes. We all wish we could have bought assets 10 years ago when they were so cheap. We're just going to keep saying that. Like for Pokemon, I think it's officially entered that rarefied air of every decade or so, you're just going to wish that you had bought more 10 years ago.
Even in the short term, like I do think about this. Like I do think, oh, it would be a hard time to get in now. And then you look at people like David from our coaching cohort, who started with $10,000, no inventory, and like hadn't vended before, hadn't attended a show yet, actually, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, had never bought a Pokemon card.
As an adult.
Right, but just wanted to.
Yeah, and was really excited about it, watched all the content, all that stuff, and went from 10,000 to 50. And I think he added a little bit more. He's added something. He's like 13 or 15,000 of his own money, and he's at $50,000 in inventory plus cash now. And he's been hustling. He's been out there like pretty much every weekend. I hear that story all the time, even in this current market. So the best time was yesterday. Next best today, I think is the answer here. Though I often say we are in the good old days. I try to remind myself of that because it does feel like we are in the good old days. And even 2 years from now, it might not feel quite as awesome as it feels now in some ways. So
yeah,
try to be grateful for that. Ash Ketchum 909. Do you buy vintage cards in Spanish that have good grades, or are they hard to sell?
No.
I also do not. However, a few times I have bought lots that had Italian, French, Spanish, German. They sell on eBay. I think there's like a really small pool of really, really passionate buyers for that sort of stuff. There was one time I listed a Suicune, a French Suicune, Neo era hollows, Suicune and Entei and Typhlosion and stuff like that. Good mons, good cards, iconic stuff that you would recognize from the Neo era. and I put it up. I like had a hard time comping it, put it up for $200. I left the house to go walk the dogs after making the listing. And before I got to the park across from my street, it had sold. So someone's just sitting there with an alert on, and they're like, any halfway reasonably priced, whatever it was, Italian or I don't remember the exact language, but it was one of those. So they do sell on eBay, but I think you need to be like at shows. This stuff is impossible. Wouldn't touch it. Japanese and English only, with the exception of like the modern Chinese exclusives.
And that Korean ditto with Lapras.
Sure. Yes. But generally Korean cards tough at shows. Okay. G and J cards. Would you suggest having a binder as a vendor or just go with multiple cases?
I started with binders, eventually graduated from them for two reasons. Security, as my table space got larger, it became harder to monitor, a binder. And then also just price point, the same amount of work to price 50 cards that are $20 and under. I could price 50 cards that are $20 and up and make more money. So, but as I started my vending career, I was big on binders until like maybe a year in, maybe more.
Yeah, I did binders for over, I think similar, a little over a year, and then moved away. I think if you're new, start on binders. Just build up. Yeah. Eventually, maybe you move away from them. There's a real opportunity cost calculation to do there. Oh, JT said, okay, we sent 30 cards to Beckett and 3 to PSA. Shows how tapped in I am. That's actually a beautiful thing about having someone great on your team. Is it's not my job anymore to know how many cards we sent to these grading companies. It is JT's job, and that is such a blessing. All right. Poke Vibes also been engaged in the chat. Thanks for being here. Crystal Guardians, Charizard, Reverse Hollow, PSA 8. Lowest list is 2,800. Are you holding or selling or trading into something bigger? This is business inventory. I love the card, but would love to use it. And then there was a separate chat that I think they said to scale the business.
If it's my inventory, I'm selling this immediately.
Same. Easy. Bob Goblin. A bit out of your current market level, but if you're looking to make your first 2 to 3K collection buy, would you lean towards a top-heavy collection or more spread-out value?
If I'm a beginner, I want some more spread-out value. Because a beginner not only has to do with my ability to sell this stuff, but also source more of it. And if you buy a big top-heavy collection, then you're going to move the big stuff, and then you're going to have this tiny stuff and money, and you're just waiting for the next deal to come along. I'd rather have the stuff in the middle, just more steady. When you get trades in, a lot of it is, similar to what you already have as far as price point. So yeah, I mean, the way I kind of perceived my inventory in the beginning was like, I had stuff valued from here to here. And then it just kind of grew like this. And then slowly I increased the floor as well, as far as price points. But in the beginning, it's really good to specialize until you kind of really know what you're doing, both in regards to selling, sourcing, and just card acumen in general, like knowing the sets, the chases, conditioning, that kind of stuff.
Wait, you said it's really good to specialize. Do you mean generalize? You said in the beginning, it's really good to specialize.
I think it's really good to specialize in a certain price point of items and era. I think that's what this is saying here. I'd rather have my values more, I guess, spread out. I guess what I'm talking about, when I read this, I read do I want $150 cards instead of one $4,000 card and then some smaller ones? That's kind of how I was perceiving it. I was thinking about inventory value in a band is what I was thinking about it.
Okay. I pretty much most of your answer is spot on to how I view it as well. If you're new, go for the more spread out stuff. One of the other reasons I think that's the answer here for me is that with the lower end stuff, you can probably get into it at a lower percentage. And it's really important early on to start building that margin and kind of protecting your base and lowering your cost basis over time by doing that. So I think, if you can get into smaller cards at lower percentages versus larger cards at higher percentages, that would make sense too. But I've done all the same things you said, Jake, As the ceiling has gone up, I've brought the floor up a little bit, and gradually nowadays I don't really handle sub $40 cards unless they're just cards I like. And that floor used to be nothing, and then it was $10, and then it was $20, and so on and so forth. So yeah, nowadays I buy collections more than ever. I spend more than ever, and the collections in many cases are getting smaller in terms of the number of things in them. So agreed with all that. Alex with 3 A's also said, the showrunner for my local front row wants vendors to literally shake their booties for tables. It's the only big money card show in my area. Would it be crazy to just move out of state?
This is a serious question. I'm not afraid of foot voting.
Yeah, that's my take here too. Listen, Alex, I also want to believe that I deserve to be above any type of groveling or begging or anything. However, the world doesn't owe me anything, and I'm not entitled to anything. And sometimes to get things, you chase them. So yeah, I don't know how else to say it other than get with the program, man. You know why they want vendors to do this? The real answer, and it really makes sense from their point of view. They are putting on the highest quality show in the US for both attendees and vendors. They think more about both attendees and vendor experience than maybe any other show organizer in the US right now, any other major. And they know that it's not a good attendee experience if the vendors are kind of half-assing it, or if they leave early, or they don't show up on Sunday, or they show up late, or they run out of stuff halfway through the show. So they want to be selective. They want the people who actually want to be there. I think it's perfectly reasonable. They're keeping a high standard. So I think I would encourage you to reframe what the showrunners want you to do to get into that show.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the requirements would be. Like getting into the show is tough because there's a long wait list, but I think that some things take a little time, a little bit more extra effort to get into. I kind of lucked out because I was involved with those shows before they got really extremely high demand.
Yep.
But I've also cultivated an extremely positive relationship with these people. Like I have their phone numbers. We email and text all the time. Been to their office, like call them on the phone. Like it's just a little bit different. So if you can get to that level with show organizers, maybe this isn't the right time for you for a certain show circuit, but it also could just take more work.
Yep. Your brother says, I've begged for worse. I don't know.
Yeah, Trey. Yeah. Shout out Jarvitar.
Shout out Jarvitar.
$20.
Sometimes we go places. Always a gas with the two Bromigos. Will Pitch Black be a better set than Phantasmal Flames?
Pitch Black could very reasonably be a better set, but still be cheaper.
Yeah, set on the whole, right? Phantasmal has a few really great cards.
I mean, Mega is a better set than Phantasmal, but it's cheaper. Like this is already happening.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to pull up the set list, but what aside from the Charizard, what's the?
It's Charizard, and Dawn, and Dawn's like $20.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yes, the gold Charizard, of course. Yeah. Pitch Black's probably going to be a better overall set. All right, let's keep going. Our number of starred has not gone down the entire time. We are completely in stasis at equilibrium. Pokebender TCG tag team alt arts ripping. Do they correct anytime soon or keep going?
I think they correct, but not. They're not going back to their previous lows. New floor on tag teams. That's just what's happening right now.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I also think, as we said a little earlier in the program, that this is also a little bit more card dependent. Like I think some of the best tag team alt arts may continue to rip before correcting. And if that happens, let's say hypothetically, Lovebirds goes to 30K and then corrects to 20, and we're at 20, and 20 is currently the all-time high. And like, that's the new basic, like baseline price for that card. I think that's exactly what Jake is saying, right? Like they're going to set new highs and lows, and the new lows might be close to the current highs. I think that can happen, but especially for, we're talking the best promos and alt arts from that era. I think there are plenty that are not, the movement's not going to be as interesting. Hassan Saad, how do you decide what level of your portfolio is long-term investment and what is inventory for vending?
In the beginning, it had more to do with like how much space am I trying to fill at my vendor table and how much value am I trying to have at the shows. And so I tended to not put as many things away long term. Lately, it is just a matter of like I only have so much space at the table and I only have so much bandwidth to sell things. I have more than I can sell. And so a good amount of what we do every month in value increase is put away for long term. So the answer to this question depends on your overall Poke net worth.
Yes, level of involvement I think matters here too. Yep. I had a higher proportion in things that were just sitting around because I liked them and or believed in their future value being higher than their present day value when I was working a pretty demanding 9 to 5 and so forth. Now that I can dedicate most of my waking hours to this if I so choose on any given week, I am gradually moving more percentage wise into things that are sort of active inventory, because that's really where I can make an impact tomorrow rather than 2 years from now. But as Jake basically just said, as my Poke net worth expands, the absolute dollar amount and the number of items that are just sitting around as investment or as collection also grows, but it's all sort of in proportion. I think the very direct answer maybe to your question is, for me, about a little under half of my total like Poke net worth is my personal collection and like things that are sitting in a storage unit because I believe in their future value being higher than their current value. And then maybe a little over half, maybe it's like 60% is sort of like pretty active inventory these days.
Yeah. And that'll change over time.
Yeah, it will.
I'm on the other side of the coin at this point. I'm at like probably 85% is long-term and 15% is vending.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, because there's only so much at a certain point. There's only so much you can bring to a show physically and show before you're like, now I need 8 employees and I need to buy an entire island and have 29 cases. You're rocking. I think you're rocking the sort of a really good state for your business right now, which is 8 to 9 Zion cases on 3 tables with 2 to 3 of you and your siblings. And like, and I see it, right? Like if you go see Jake, there's 5 more Zion cases in the back filled with cards. It's not anywhere near everything he has out on display. And how much more could you possibly have in your active inventory when already half of what you bring to the show can't physically be shown on the table?
Yeah. We're at the point from a value standpoint where like if I was trying to vend with like the majority of the Poke value, we probably need to be getting into like the 6-figure cards in our case.
Right.
And that's just really not where we're at yet. I mean, that's probably just for lack of me having the comfort to be there. We've moved lots of 5-figure cards. I think our biggest transaction as far as value was like an $80K deal at the table. But yeah, I'm just I'm not fully in the high net worth exclusive items part of the business. Maybe not ever, maybe just not yet. I want to have some high end items. But I also like, I'm a collector and I like quantity of things. And I know that's not necessarily like the best, most efficient, most liquid play, but like I'm literally going to build another binder of like 1,000 cards again because I like this stuff.
Adam Petit asked, asked, I recently got a submission back from PSA. Normally I do really well, 80%, I'm assuming gem rate, but this time pretty rough. Have you had a submission come back where you didn't really understand why you got mostly 9s? I don't think I've ever gotten mostly 9s, to be honest with you, but I'm not like the highest volume submitter ever. But yes, I have had submissions where I'm used to getting 70 to 80%, and instead I got 60%, and it's a little hard to understand why sometimes. It does happen.
Yeah, I've seen some submissions from some people that I know who sent in cards, and they're just getting really crushed. Like stuff that they thought had a really good chance at an 8 or a 9 is getting a 7. Stuff.
Pressed Paper Collector. Ricky, your Instagram story had that Primo case a few days ago. Any news on that potential collab? Yes. They're probably going to launch it in September. We will probably be collabing. So I will have a promo code for that. They will give me some monies to talk about it in a video. So keep an eye out in September. What they had sent me was just a sort of prototype that they've improved on in a few ways. So I had some questions for them about that. They improved on the 2 or 3 issues that I had with the prototype, actually. So I'm actually shipping that back tomorrow. And yes, I'll be working with them. So keep an eye out in September if a really, really high quality, like wood and UV treated glass box for displaying slabs is your thing. I think this company will make the best one available on the market, honestly. But if it's not your thing, then ignore it, because it's not most people's thing. It'd be my guess. Your friend Frank, $10 super chat. Your opinion. A lot of new vendors want to do the big shows because of FOMO. I say sometimes it's good to do small, intimate ones. Going big is not always good. Your thoughts?
100%. But also, Frank, like, think of the situation that you're in. You're in a situation where you have, up to, again, I don't know your exact business, but I'm pretty sure you're in a situation where you have 6 figures liquid to buy almost every week. And that gives you the opportunity to go to a smaller, intimate show and be the biggest buyer in the room, which is a really strong position to be, regardless of the show. If you're the biggest buyer at Collecticon, you're doing great. But in order to do that, you have to be spending $1 million every weekend just because the competition's higher. So you're at a different place maybe than the average up and coming vendor who is kind of hoping to get their shot at the big leagues and go to a Collecticon for the first time. But they'll be you one day, when they're buying heavy and making moves and building businesses and helping out their friends and family.
Real Echo Wolf asked, looking to consolidate some low-end slabs into a bigger one. Ray VMAX Alt 10 or Unlimited Shining Mewtwo 9?
Oof.
How fast do you want to flip it back into cash is my question here.
Yeah, I'm going Ray VMAX 10. I mean, consolidation into a 10. The Mewtwo could outperform, but the Ray will not be a bad decision. Like your downside risk is way lower with the Ray.
Yeah, my gut said, well, I think it depends. Do you need to be able to sell it at any point? Do you want to be able to sell it tomorrow if you had to? Then go with the Ray VMAX. I think if you're holding on to it and it's not a huge portion of your overall Poke net worth, we'll keep using that phrase. I like the Unlimited Shiny. I like this Shiny Mewtwo. I just like those cards though. So that would be what I would probably go for. But I don't think either of these is a particularly neither of these is a mistake necessarily. Zeke 47 just asked, do you think the current PSA value tier shutdown will change how low-end slabs are valued short-term? I think we talked about this like 1 or 2 streams ago.
Yep.
I think our answer was essentially no, because there's still going to be 5 million plus low-end PSA cards getting moved into the market over this period of time.
Yeah, there's a 15 million card backlog. And between now and whenever they reopen, they're going to grade 15 million cards.
Yeah, I mean, people might FOMO. I think this will only have, and they expect to sort of reopen that offering. They expect to get through that backlog in something like 4 months. So if they're correct about that, I don't think the move here is going to be material on lower end slab values. If it extends for past like a year, and all of these types of slabs are sitting at repack pull game companies, then maybe a different story. This is a hard question to answer quickly, but maybe we have like a quick tidbit at least. Just maybe we give one piece of game here. JR Jukums. Hey, y'all, appreciate the content. Currently just starting out vending. When it comes to taxes for buying and selling, is there an easy standard to understand?
JR Jukums, I think you need to talk to a tax professional. This question is too general. I don't know exactly what you're asking. But you should have a way to track your transactions so that you can calculate your profit so that you can pay taxes to the government.
Yeah, that's the basic thing. The other thing that I think a lot of people get wrong, I said this on my live stream and then my chat was like, oh, glad I didn't hear that because my volume was out. You definitely don't want to get this wrong. In the US, this is a very common white collar crime if you're trying to knowingly evade taxes. And there's a difference in basically the IRS would have to prove if they were to audit you and charge you with felony tax evasion, they would have to prove that you were not ignorant to the rules. Ignorance is only an excuse up to a certain point. There is up to a 5-year jail sentence for this type of crime. So
well, and ignorant might absolve you of jail time, but you'll still pay what you owe.
You'll pay what you owe plus $100,000 fee minimum. Yeah. Definitely do this. One of the things that people don't know to do, they're definitely not doing it at shows, is that if you don't collect sales tax for transactions in your state, from like states like California, you are supposed to. And quarterly, if you run a proper business, you will quarterly report in how much revenue, not profit, but revenue of retail goods you sold in California to other California residents. That is a few $1,000 bill I pay every month. This is one of the reasons why when people come up and they offer me 80%, I tell them, nope, 93%, because 93% in practice is actually like 85% if you're running things correctly. Okay. Q Grandmaster P5888. What is the most underrated and undervalued era of cards right now?
No idea. Everything's expensive.
Okay.
Everything.
I'm going to just pick one for the sake of picking one. XY. I think XY is relative to other things, not as expensive as it could be.
I agree with that, but I also like when I think about the demand and I think about how those cards move in comparison, like I have a really great XY singles inventory and have had. The Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon stuff has moved 2 or 3 times over in the same time that the XY stuff has. I just don't think people like it as much in general.
For sure. That's definitely true.
So like,
when people see more of it, it grows on them typically.
Sure. Underrated might be my opinion for me personally. Like, oh, I think people should like this more. But like, if they don't like it more, then then undervalued is different than underrated.
That's actually a good distinction. I was painting it with a pretty broad brush in my answer. Kaiokin. With Rudy Hard pushing out PCG on his channel, have you seen any increase at shows of other graded slabs being brought to you guys or at other vendor tables?
Nope. Huge no. I would never buy a PCG slab.
I think they're just asking if you're even seeing them being brought to you.
I've never even seen one. And yeah. Not true. He had a booth at Collecticon. Where was it? I don't know, about a month ago. He had a booth at Collecticon or his people did.
Orlando.
And I saw their slabs in their case, but like.
No, I do see more. I think a slight uptick versus a year ago in people bringing tag slabs. Yes. I still pass on them, but I do see them around a little bit more often than I did.
Yes.
All right. Rar, it's not me asks. I believe this is Summer who sold us the heavy Team Rocket pack that we opened and got the Dark Machamp out of.
Nice.
In a business sense, how do you build a sales channel for slabs? That's something I struggle with as a vendor who primarily sells singles.
part of this might just be like the classic retail conundrum of the thing that you have the most of is the thing that you're going to sell the most of.
So true.
If your entire table was just cool slabs, don't you think you'd probably sell a lot more slabs than singles?
Yeah, it's fascinating, and it might matter. It might depend a little on your market and stuff, but that's 100%. Like if you have 3 slabs and you're like, man, these slabs aren't moving for me, or you have 3 good slabs, people aren't looking at the slab. Like they kind of pass by your table as not a slab vendor if they are a slab buyer. I don't know if you do this, Jake, but when I'm walking around a room looking to sell to other vendors, if I have like 5-figure cards in my hand, I'm looking at their table to see that they deal in this sort of thing. Like I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna waste the time of showing it to somebody who just has a bunch of like binder singles, because I know that it's probably not what they deal in. So what you have on your table does signal what kind of business you like to do in terms of what you like to take in and what you like to sell. If you're worried about like the confidence in moving them, I would say things that can help. Relationships with repackers right now helps with slab liquidity. So if you're worried about protecting your downside, build relationships with 2 of them. Building online sales channels. So whether that's eBay, working with a consignment company is even a really good, like Earn honestly sells a lot of his volume these days through consignment. I have multiple times before I actually sent things to Arizona TCG when I didn't want to deal with them myself or whatever. So once you find those kind of more bulk ways to move things, maybe it'll help you feel a little more confident about having more of your inventory be slabs. All right. Pearson 4068 earlier in the stream. New into the Pokemon collecting space, but not new to TCGs in general. Thoughts on the stability of Pokemon Center stamp promos like Nzakron? Cheers.
It seems stable to me.
Yeah.
Maybe too stable.
Yeah, that's so interesting about them, right? Like they haven't moved at all. They came down, they softened a lot recently, like a few months ago. And they kind of just hung out there. Like a lot of these that were $70 6 months ago are like $40, and they've just been $40. A lot of them feature less popular mons, you know, like Screamtail. Like some of them are kind of weird. And I have noticed for me personally, these don't sell nearly as well for me as they used to these days. So I think the interest is low in them right now. But in terms of stability, it's a very exclusive product. They have a very capped print run. And I think in the long term, among stamped promos, as they age, it will age well, would be my guess. Oh, it's Casper TCG asked you, how did you like the Beltway card show? Is that the one you were in Maryland?
Yes.
You said
the show was great. Great organizers, great patrons, solid venue, good energy in the room, all good things.
Grandmaster P again. Do you see much more upside for graded E-Series cards?
The best ones, for sure. I think the Crystal Charizard, I mean, all those crystals, they continue to just set new highs and be really strong.
Wind Waker did this one earlier. I might have just started. One of us must have started passively because it had a little questions in it. But I like this. How do you get tons of stuff? Become a net buyer. How do you become a net buyer? Spend money. How do you spend money? Make it while you're alive.
It's really that simple, Wind Waker. Just let the money flow to you, okay?
It really is that simple. Someone else had a good one too. Alex, I think in the chat, had also said something. It was a good Jakeism. Which one was it?
No, don't worry about it.
All
Next
easy
question.
ways. Oh, it was all easy ways. I haven't found it, but I just remembered. Here we go. All easy ways to make money are hard.
Yeah.
It's really wise words.
Wise words.
Wise words. What do you think of, from Hunter York, what do you think of grading cards with well-known printing issues like Mewtwo and white dot errors?
What do I think of grading them? I think you have a better chance of getting a 10 if they don't have the error.
So insightful, man. Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't think I've ever come across a raw copy of this that looked better than an 8. They are so prone to that ink splatter thing.
Yeah. The Black Label Mewtwo that recently sold, I think it was on Ryan's Card House for like 70 or 80,000. It had the white dot error on the back. So like Sometimes they care, sometimes they don't.
Really?
Yes. Look at the scans.
Oh, disgusting. I will after this. Toronto 6 God asks, will you guys ever come to Canada? I haven't been to Canada to vend, but you have to vend, specifically in Toronto area. Love the great content as always.
Yeah, I'd like to. We don't have any booked shows right now, but we're open to it. We had a great time. Shout out Canadians.
Sans TV 6564, thoughts on PSA 7 to 8 gold stars?
Probably some of the only PSA 7s and 8s that I'm willing to buy. They're always more liquid than I think they are, but still not incredibly liquid.
Yes. Yes. Way more liquid than the mid grades, than the true mid grades. Like raw MP copies are very liquid. PSA 5-6, they tend to sit for me. I tend to have a hard time finding
except for like the best ones, like Charizard and Portrait.
Yeah. I'm thinking Metagross. I had a 5, 6, 7, and 8, or so I had like 6, 7, and 8. And they sat for a little longer than I wanted. But I have a PSA 3 Gold Star Charizard right now. I'm not worried about. I had a PSA 7 Gold Star Charizard that was not difficult to move, so I like them. J Takes asked, when are we getting another card buying challenge vid? An update on who's winning the last one? Yeah, I guess it would be fun at some point to go back and revisit the things that we bought in October of last year at Card Party and see who wins the value battle like 9 months, a year later. Maybe we do that as part of our 1 year Midweek Machamps anniversary.
To see what those original cards have done. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't do the challenge vid in the Card Party last time just because we ran out of time, and Sunday actually ended up being a good business day.
Yeah.
But I think we'll have. I mean, you and I are going to be doing enough shows together this year. I feel like we'll have another chance.
I think so. I think so too. Cobb Real Estate. This is a question. For some reason, I feel like I've answered so many more times over the last month than ever before. Yeah. Is there an ideal ratio that you strive for in terms of inventory versus cash?
Not that I strive for, but like in hindsight, what I've observed is somewhere around 20 to 25%.
Yep. That is the correct answer. All right. We're a little over an hour. How are you feeling, Jake?
Let's do 3 more.
3 more? Okay, I'll try to pick 3 good ones. Are there any calling out to you here in the starred?
No, all questions are valid. No wrong questions here.
I'm trying to pick ones that I know we'll have answers for. Like there are some good questions here, like asking about master sets and selling full complete sets of things. But I think you and I don't do a ton of that. So I don't know if we're like great people to ask about like, how do I get the most out of a Crown Zenith master set?
Yeah. Selling master sets is tough. You usually take a pretty big bath when you sell a master set.
Ditto King, what has been your most wholesome Pokemon moment while vending at card shows or just by being in the hobby?
I'll be frank, I don't like to talk about these too much. There was a really cool interaction that we had with a family of collectors at Card Party, you and I, Ricky.
I was thinking about that one too.
One of their kids had been through just a horrible accident, medical issues. I think we gave them a bunch of cool stuff, really positive, very wholesome. I don't like to talk about it too much.
I'm with you. Yeah, that one came to mind for me too. But there's a bit of recency bias, but that one was
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna catch up on the live chat. I haven't looked at the chat in 1 minute, and there's 20. What are y'all talking about? Someone say 6, 7? Who said 6, 7? 6s and 7s.
Who would ever say that? It'd be so. I don't know.
I said PSA 6, 7. Everyone said 6, 7. Okay.
Yeah, right. I guess.
Okay, great. Okay, here's a super chat from Next Pack MGIKTCG. We have a growing TCG business in a remote town with no dedicated card shop. Pop-up events drive demand. What are the best ways to scale sustainably while serving a small but growing market?
Travel.
But it doesn't serve their local market very much, does it? Unless they're just...
Of course it does. You go out there and you bring home all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
You serve, whether you are a net buyer or a net seller in your local environment, you're doing tons of good business.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, did I steamroll you? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. It's a reasonable answer. Co-Diamonds. I will still do local shows. For the rest of this year, I think we will have one more local show. So I am going to plan on traveling more. I'm planning on traveling more, and we'll be doing more major shows more often than not. The main reason being that we get a similar performance doing story sales and stream sales from home as we do at almost any sort of minor or medium show. So it's mostly just worth going to the best shows at this point for us. Austin Kone Xiao. Does Hokit beat Gon?
No.
Hokit's a much better wrestler, and Gon could not wrestle. He got wrestled by Jones so easily, but
he's not big enough, I don't think, to keep Gon down.
I know. Yeah. I'm not actually picking Hokit in that. Gon is so much better of a striker.
And so much better at distance control. Like he will hit Hokit extremely hard and be out of the pocket before Hokit can respond.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let me pick one more actual good one. Okay, maybe this is kind of a big question, but let's try it. Bucky Ralboa. I've been vending for 4 months now, and I'm doing relatively well. What did you do to scale? Is there something in particular that leveled up your business?
Traveled. I mean, doing a show every single weekend, just working. Do more of the things that are working. What's working for you, Bucky Ralboa? Do 2 times more of that. Do 10 times more of it until you see diminishing returns.
Yeah, this is let's pull that thread a little bit more. I've talked about it in this pod before. The idea of like, I can think of 100 great ideas, 99 of which will derail my business. As soon as I went full time on this, I did exactly what Jake said. I just did 3 times more of the exact same 4 things I'd been doing. I don't think I've added anything truly new to my process. I just do more of it. We grade twice as many cards. We go to 3 times as many shows. We do 4 times as many story sales. We do infinity% more stream sales. I buy 4 times more collections. Multiply whatever's working by more. Certainly, like, the content helped a lot, right? Like, I get reached out about there you go.
Hookah. So we do a good amount of YouTube content, right? Just to defend myself a little bit, putting out like 1 or 2 long form videos plus a live stream selling plus a midweek Machamps every week plus shorts. So a good amount of content. But let's say we were to double down on making content. Like revenue earned from content in a month, let's say I won't give you specific numbers, but let's say it's X. Revenue from selling cards is like 15X. So that's where I've spent more energy, especially in a booming market.
You really, really needed to defend.
He's said it like 3 times, and I'm like, bro, like I'm like, my face is on the internet for like 8 hours a week. That's a good amount. But if it was 16, I would lose a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Michael's on your side on this. Wholesome moments are better staying personal because making it public seems like a view stunt.
Hire someone. I literally have 2 editors. All right, man.
You
go make some content, make it happen. He's rage baiting me. Wind Waker, it is triple down, quadruple down, video every day.
Go chat. Go chat. Clearly, he's going to take the bait. Do more.
Hire someone. I love it. You're right. That's all it takes. It makes everything easier.
Jake, you should hire 3 people, says Wind Waker.
10 people.
Okay, here, Mike Smith. Now I'm gonna get baited into defending you. I think more than 80% of the value that Jake can ever extract from having a following on YouTube is his business already benefits from it.
Yeah.
I think it would be a lot of extra effort and hours and resources to get a very incremental return compared to where you're at now.
Yeah, I love you guys. I love you for being here. This live stream is a service. we make negative money doing this. This is because we like you, we like the community, but we also got to spend time on revenue.
Jake will dance for $1, y'all.
No, that's what I'm saying. I won't.
Just do better. Just go live 24/7, show everything, bring Franny back as your camera monitor.
All right, now I'm triggered. Let's end it here.
Yes, it's working. He's actually triggered. So good. All right, man. Hey, thoughts on
here we go. Now we're talking. Yes, Wind Waker. Thank you. You make it all better.
Wind Waker always goes. Dance, Jake.
Dance, Jake. That's all we have for today, folks. We appreciate all of your time. Huge Q&A, lots of great questions. What I love about this chat is I feel like over time it's getting more and more educated, which is very cool. And what do we have coming up here, Ricky?
Elite forecast before we wrap it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We have to elite forecast. Okay, you go first. You go first. You got something in the chamber.
Yes, and it was so similar to something you were saying earlier. Okay, so here's what I've got for elite forecast. It looks over the past month or so. Over the past month or so, it looks like we're hitting an equilibrium on a lot of things. Like there are obviously things that are still going up and going down, but it's fairly healthy, like supply and demand dynamics, where it seems like it's hit like a good spot where people are like, yes, that card is worth the Silver Tempest Lugia PSA 10 is worth 1,600. My gut is telling me, in a normal year, you said the same thing about last year. In almost any other cycle, we would have gotten the summer dip, but we've got the 30th anniversary tailwind that's going to like cancel that out. We've got the Storm Esmeralda, the Rayquaza set. I think for English will come out probably around the same time as like close to the 30th anniversary set. So I think we're going to get a slight slowdown in the sense that it's like kind of flat for a little bit right now. Mm-hmm. And then in September-ish, it's going to boom again until like the end of November. We're going to have like a nasty 3 months there where it goes crazy again. But I think there's a lot of things right now, like Ascended boxes. A lot of the PSA 10 chases are like flat right now for the last like 4 weeks. I think that could continue to be true with plus or minus like 5 or 10% differences over the next few months. That's my call. Kind of flat in a lot of the things that people pay attention to from now until September, and then boom, September or November.
Yeah, I like that. I think my elite forecast is as part of that boom, because I agree exactly that's how it's going to happen. As part of that boom, we're going to see even stronger performance than previous 18 months. We're going to see vintage sealed products continue to go up and up and become more and more scarce. I see like some of the ways that a lot of these streamers are getting creative and how they're moving these packs, both just selling them sealed and ripping them. And I just really feel like the marketplace is getting more and more refined and talented at finding ways to sell things and increase liquidity for every type of item. And I think vintage sealed, its potential value disparity with modern is going to continue to get realized.
Okay. I like
So
that.
let me get specific. I'm going to say stuff like Gen 2, Gen 3 boxes. I think in like the next couple years could double again, and they've already like almost quintupled. And so because of that, like having them double again is just like a huge prospect because of the price points that they're at. Like I think people are asking like nearly $200,000 for a first edition Neo Destiny box. I think things like that, Legendary Collection, sets with gold stars in them, things like that. I think it's reasonable that they're going to get to the $200,000 to $300,000 mark.
Yeah, geez. Yeah, it makes sense. They're being opened and moved at it. The supply is dwindling at an unprecedented rate of something that was already quite rare. And there are people that come out of the woodworks from time to time with something that they've been holding on to since 1999. But
yeah, so I think about like we've talked about this phenomenon of the fact that there's more people than ever who can deal in 5 and 6 figure items.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that quantity of people that are now involved, when they do get their hands on a sealed item that's in that category, it, instead of just filtering around to all the people who could potentially buy, sell, and trade it, it's filtering to somebody who can maximize its value and by ripping it. So like the people at these bigger shows who have a way to maximize the value for these boxes are going to be the ones who buy them because they can pay the most for them. And the way they maximize is by opening in them and piecing them out and ripping them. And I think that's just going to continue to drive scarcity and yeah.
Good stuff, man. Okay, let's roll out the red carpet and wrap this one up. I think you're about to ask me what I've got coming up.
Yeah, man. What do you got going on in the next couple of weeks before we meet again?
Yes, I am doing Maximum Card Show here in San Jose. So that is a one-day show on Saturday, the 20th, just a few days from now. I think I have a pretty primo locations that should be easy to find. This is a pretty established Pacific Northwest card show circuit, but it's a first time in the Bay Area. So come show some support. I would love to meet you there if you're local. And then the week after that, we are doing Front Row Card Show in Phoenix, and you and I will both be there. We're in pretty different parts of the building from what I saw, but you can come say hi to each of us nonetheless. I think that'll be really awesome. The venue is really interesting and unique. It's going to be really cool. And other than that, I have a few videos coming out. I've got a PSA return video featuring JT in a lot of it coming up, I think, on Monday. I've got a Phoenix card shops, highest rated Phoenix card shops coming out the Monday after that. And I'm working through a lot of this week, spending a lot of my free time on Collecticon and Card Party vendor POV. I'm like 6 videos behind right now on raw footage. So working on it.
Put out more videos, Ricky. Come on.
Yeah, dude, it's just so, you know what is funny is I am trying to hire an editor. I actually tested a different editor for this Arizona Card Shops one, and I wasn't like super thrilled with the process. So it's also not as easy as hire an editor.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. I'm excited to see you in a couple weeks or in a week and a half. I have Collecticon Las Vegas this week. So if you are coming to that, come see the booth. We'll be in the big booth with Bulbasaur and Flipping Cardboard, Pokespiffs, and it'll be a good time. So come see us there this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Las Vegas Convention Center. And the following week, yes, we'll be in Phoenix for Front Row. Between now and then, we have a couple of videos. We have, I believe, Friday, we should have a video from the Beltway card show. So that footage will be turned around in a week, which is pretty awesome. Shout out Jarvitar for that edit. And we also have a guest to announce for our next Midweek Machamps. we have locked in a guest with our good friend Will. Pokestop Will will be joining the stream here 2 weeks from now, and I expect we'll be discussing some of the things that he is particularly good at, such as really high-end items, six-figure items, international deals, and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be really fun to talk about. He is a very experienced vendor, a ball knower, as they say in the Poke world. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, we're looking for ball knowers, y'all. So if you have suggestions, we're always open to suggestions, because at this point we start racking our brains a little bit more about like what would be a good topic, what would be a good guest, and we try to match those things up. So Will's a no-brainer, and there's a few other people we have in mind. But if anyone in the audience, if you want to leave a comment on the VOD on, hey, it'd be great to have this person, and here's why they're a ball knower, that would be good on a podcast. Let us know. Maybe it'll happen.
Love it. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Have a great evening. We'll see you in a couple weeks. If not, till then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.